Put your earbuds in, you damn dirty human. We watched Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, and we are in defense of bad movies. Hello everyone, Sam Bowen here with In Defense of Bad Movies. I'm joined, as always, by Lauren Bowen.
Hello.
And Bobby Mattern.
What is up?
And I am joined, at least for this episode, by Laura King.
Hey everyone.
Now Laura, you told us before the show. You were going to take a hiatus from the show.
Yes, I am.
So this will be your last episode for a while.
Yes.
So it is with a heavy heart that we have this record this podcast.
Yeah, so. But you guys this won't be the last of me.
Oh, that's a threat.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that really came out more like a threat. And
you have not seen the last of Laura.
I meant it as I'll be back kind of thing.
Cool.
I'm particularly sad, though, that your break is beginning on this movie. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, me
too.
Out
like this.
Me too.
Really? I mean, it feels like she's going out on a high because this is a good movie. We are, of course, doing 2001's Planet of the Apes. I wanted to put A for some reason. I wanted to call it 2001's A Planet of the Apes.
2001 Space Odyssey. That's the movie I watched.
Oh, wow.
Still terrible.
Then I really am sorry because I hate that movie.
Oh, this is awkward.
Yeah.
It's Laura's favorite movie.
So we watched 2001's
An Apes Odyssey.
An Apes Odyssey, a movie that I enjoy. And I gotta say,
Sam, I gotta tell you, I don't believe that you actually enjoy this movie.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna say on
dear.
that. On some of the movies prior, there was a little bit like, oh yeah, this wasn't as good as I remember. I actually still enjoyed this one, and I'm gonna say this about this movie. This movie is a comedy. And if look,
oh my God, it's Batman and Robin all over again.
It's not as funny as Batman and Robin. I will
Guys,
say.
It's like what they were trying to do in the old movie.
It's not a comedy because it's not funny. It's just not good.
You can't point at the preposterous things in the film and say, "Oh, that's comic brilliance." Yeah, that's a great choice.
I don't know if that's true. I think you totally can do that. Well, before we get into it, let's do for the last time in a while, Laura's...
Cut her down. Make her do it in like 5 seconds.
Laura's 5-second movie
Just
review.
because we can.
Laura's 5-second movie review. Go.
This movie is the remake of the Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's it. That was extra 6 seconds.
Because Laura gives the exact same energy for 5-second movie review. This movie pause is.
She didn't start with okay though, and usually she does.
Can we just dive right in and talk about how ludicrous the plot is of this movie and
Ludicrous wasn't in it.
It doesn't make sense? And
well, it's the same plot as the original Planet.
No, Sam.
It really is not.
It is a reimagining.
It is
and
a reimagining,
terrifying.
A terrifying. I like that.
The original idea.
When the movie opens, you get Mark Wahlberg
talking
to the chimpanzee or ape, whatever.
Both are accurate.
I don't know how to distinguish the two.
But it was Pericles, which is a portmanteau of primate Heracles. Excuse me.
Primate.
Little
primate.
No?
Are we talking about we don't know how to distinguish between Mark Wahlberg and Pericles?
Yeah.
I found it difficult.
Who was the best?
I mean, Pericles is a better actor, surely. We agree.
Who was just the best thing in the movie, but unfortunately was only in it for about 5 minutes of the movie. And you realize that Mark Wahlberg is a pretty awful actor. He's not good.
He's not the best actor. I've never been totally on board with Wahlberg.
No, but I think this movie just solidified that for me.
With Mark Wahlberg, I should say. Donnie Wahlberg, very good actor.
What's better, Mark Wahlberg talking chimps or Mark Wahlberg talking plants? What's better? Anyone?
Talking to chimps.
All right. Say hi to your mother for me.
It's a better movie.
No one watched The Happening.
Happening is a terrible movie.
Yeah,
Laura watched The Happening. Anyway.
I've actually not
Really
seen
bad.
it, so
I, of course, watched The Happening because I worked so hard to defend Shyamalan, and then he did that to me. It's like, guy, come on. I was in your corner for so long.
twisted.
He
hand.
also
Why did you do
did
this?
The Visit, I think, right? That's what
Yes.
it's called?
Yes.
That awful movie.
I think Bobby liked that one.
I did. I really liked The Visit. That was fun.
Yeah.
That's
Did
right.
not-
You're listening to the Shyamalan cast.
Guys, I thought Split was pretty fun too. Okay.
I would say I thought the makeup was extraordinary, and I'm not going to like that's not going to be my whole defense. Like guys, the makeup was really
He's
good.
talking about
But-
Planet of the Apes, not Split.
Yeah, Planet of the Apes. But for Laura to say like the best part was the chimpanzee, I thought the makeup was tremendous.
Okay, so he crash lands. He goes after his
Laura's going to
Hercules.
ignore your comment about the makeup.
and
'Cause we
he
still gotta
crash
unpack
lands
this.
on this planet,
Uh-huh.
and there are apes and humans on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out that
Spoiler alert.
spoiler
We're just going right to
spoiler
the end.
alert that his crew went after him, so they crash landed before he got there because he was caught up in this time warp thing.
Let's do it
And
again.
so the apes that they had on their ship have inhabited this planet and have developed
They reproduced. and
but they've also reproduced, I guess, with the humans. That's why some of the
Wait,
apes
what? Whoa.
look like humans.
Oh my god!
Or they're interspecies.
Wow.
no,
That's
no.
a whole different imagining.
I mean, then why do they
Oh, that's
have
amazing.
faces
Why do they have faces?
like humans?
Why do the apes have faces? They evolved.
I'm gonna say the science is on Laura's side for this one.
I'm-
Because over 1,000 years they evolved into that.
And also,
It would take longer than
there
1,000
are
years.
just-
right?
there's
yeah,
a
it
group
probably
of
should have
human
taken-
people there. Why? Where are they from? How did they get there? Where are they from?
They're offspring of the crew.
Now
of the human crew.
I hope that's not true, because that's disturbing. And that is one of the problems with the movie that, unfortunately, because we all know the original, we go in expecting, okay, it's going to be Earth. And the movie does not make a clear enough job immediately that this is absolutely not Earth. Like later they suggest it with, 2 planets in the sky. You're like, oh, this is a different planet.
We should probably point out, for those who have not seen the original Planet of the Apes, or like the
Are
three
we giving
people.
a spoiler warning for the original
After
Planet
I
of the
already
Apes?
said what happens.
I by this point, if you haven't seen it, it's a 40-year-old movie, 50-year-old movie. I don't even know how long. It's an old movie. I think you can.
Okay.
You can say. So in the original one, Charlton Heston goes to this planet. He's like, "Oh, the apes are in command in this planet, and I don't know what's going on." And then at the end, he is revealed that the planet, it is not a foreign planet like he thought it was. It is in fact Earth, and somehow the humans have devolved to where they don't speak, and the apes have evolved to take over. They become the dominant species of the planet.
And the point at the time, it was, the planet had been destroyed through some sort of nuclear
They
catastrophe.
blew it up!
It was our, humans destroyed this planet, and then, of course, that allowed opportunity for another species to become the dominant species. It was a condemnation of us.
Yes.
And it was a point, which this movie lacks. But also, going back to my original point, it does not make clear. It very carefully tells us that these vaguely enhanced chimps that they were working on in space, but they don't make it clear how enhanced,
They
are now the
were
full
more
population.
more enhanced than they thought.
Yeah, and that they're the
crew,
full population of the planet. But it doesn't say where the humans come from. Like, you could believe it. Were they already on this planet? They were just an animal species on the planet? Which
Well, I mean,
feels
they're
more
speaking
comfortable.
English.
That's a good point, too.
So
Which is a problem. But is that movie...
well,
ethos?
okay. The original crew, which it could very well be that we don't see everyone who was on the ship. So maybe there's a larger population in play here.
Okay.
How
This
long
is a good point. If it...
do you believe that they were on the planet before the apes revolted against them? Because it doesn't seem like a ton of time has passed.
They, in the video features of
Yeah.
the crew, doing their video log, they do some aging makeup. So they make it look like they've gotten older.
It does feel like it would have been the same if maybe the next generation of apes. So
I'm compelled-
it is very quick evolving.
I'm compelled by the idea that then it's the offspring of the crew that have inhabited this planet, even though it is equally problematic. They're like, wow, those 20 people did a really good job of populating a planet. Also, there are no other animals on this planet besides horses.
That's a
which
good question.
are
Where do horses
shockingly
come from?
similar to Earth
Where do
horses.
horses come from?
Yeah.
We should have just asked that one right out the gate.
And sure, maybe there's a similar horse alien species, but there's no other animals on this planet.
I don't believe that Tim Burton would pass up an opportunity to do some stupid alien horse in his movie.
That is an excellent point. I wonder if that was just to help throw us off, to continue to throw
But
people
he's
off.
not disguising. He's not disguising that it's a different planet, but he's not telegraphing it either, making it
I don't
very
think
clear.
I don't think it's clear to us until we see the two moons.
Yeah, I mean,
What-
is the Earth like? Do you think he's trying to
Or the
trick
two
us?
other
Like,
planets,
is
yes.
it Earth? It's not. And if you were paying attention to the planets, because obviously there are horses in the original, so maybe it should just
I
simply
think
be
he
like,
wa-
we've got apes, we gotta have them on horses.
I think he was trying to make people think it was a straight up remake, and of course, press at the time was very clear this is a reimagining. But at the same time, I think with just looking at the movie, you are meant to believe, oh, it's a remake of the original. So yeah, this is Earth. We have to assume it's Earth.
If that was his choice, that's a terrible choice. To like slowly reveal that this is not Earth.
I don't think it's a terrible choice. I think it's
Really?
ineptly executed. Like, you can't just say, surprise, it's not Earth, and then that's it. You know, like, there's nothing to that. And as we're talking about it right now, there's no work being put into making that true. I mean, it's just such a weird ass thing to... I don't know.
So wait, what's your problem with?
I don't think it's executed very well because it's not Earth, but I think that's cool. I think that it goes out of its way to distinguish itself from the original. Because if it had gotten to the end, you have Mark Wahlberg, you know, like crying in front of the Statue of Liberty. You're like, that's really lazy. I think it's cool that it went in a different direction, but there's no point to it not being Earth. There's a ton of like big story issues with it not being Earth, like we were just talking about. It's just weird. Like, and then like you even have because it's not Earth, Mark Wahlberg's character at the end needs to go home for some reason. Like, but I don't know, it's just weird. But now there's all these other humans, and you feel kind of bad that they don't get to go back to Earth. It's just, I don't know. It just feels like not putting it on Earth raised a lot of weird issues and questions that the movie just doesn't give a shit about addressing. So I'm not against the idea of it being on Earth, but I just don't think the movie's that interested in that. Like, it feels like it not being Earth was an idea that came up late in the writing process.
Totally fair. I think it was more focused on monkey leaps and
Ape
fancy
leaps.
costumes.
Let's come on.
This movie did
Ape
feel like,
leaps.
If we learn
let's
nothing
come up with
else.
cool costumes, let's put everyone in them, and then let's just throw everything in a cocktail shaker and shake it up. And have them bump into each other, and then eventually the movie will end.
And it was hilarious.
So
It was a funny ride.
I would like to talk more about this being a comedy. Sam, explain yourself.
I still think that the humans had sex with the apes.
That is amazing.
I'm intrigued by that idea, frankly.
If that was part of the movie, that's an interesting.
I will say 2,000 years. Well, okay. I will say, okay. I'm going to go both ways. 2,000 years or however long is not enough time to evolve to the point they did. On the other hand, they're genetically messing with these apes, so maybe whatever they did sped up the evolution process. So I do not think that monkeys and apes and humans had sex with each other.
Just to clarify it, like if they
But
had the scientist licking her lips or something at the monkey cages before Mark Wahlberg went off on his escape pod, so that we could know for sure if that's what happened.
I will say this: you can save that for the movie you wish you'd seen. That's perfectly fine.
No, I still think it happened. So
It would explain the weird sexual energy between Helena Bonham Carter's
That is-
character
that
and
is
Mark.
true.
She
Yeah.
is hard giving him sex eyes and
Yeah,
like
and
really
then-
into this
Yeah,
human.
I
He's
haven't
not
seen-
her species.
I haven't been like seen interspecies sex eyes like that since Nala. I guess that's not interspecies, but it did it
They
for
were
me.
the same species.
But where it did it for me, where Nala gave Simba that "fuck me" look, that was pretty hot. But anyway,
What about not Uhura, Gamora and Star-Lord?
that's true. They are interspecies.
Let's keep going.
Okay.
All right.
Any-
What
anyone
about
William Shatner had
Mork
sex with in
from
this-
Orc and Mindy?
Well, he looked so human that it was. was.
That's fair.
He did
What
sit
about
up to-
E.T. and Drew Barrymore?
Oh.
Have sex.
I want to watch movies as Laura.
I'm just kidding, guys.
So this is a movie where during a chase scene you see a chimpanzee taking off his toupee and taking his dentures out of a thing. That's comedy right there. There's like this.
No, you have a wannabe comedy where Paul Giamatti plays this really stupid role and like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hide while everyone fights. So I could come out.
Paul Giamatti is fantastic.
Do we all agree that Paul Giamatti saw Ron Howard's The Grinch and modeled his performance on Jim Carrey's interpretation of The Grinch?
Yeah, horrible. Yeah, then he did. Yes.
Paul Giamatti just cannot not be Paul Giamatti. He just, more than anyone
Paul
else.
Giamatti had no idea what this movie was, and I think all the actors actually,
Tim Burton
all
had
of
no
them
idea
were
this movie was.
I think he
were
did.
in a different movie.
I think Paul Giamatti came in doing the job he was given to do, and the very broad outline of the job is like, you're the comic relief, and like, okay, I'll do my damnedest because I'm Paul Giamatti. But guys, are you sure these are the things you want me to say? No, it's gonna be great. Go, it's gonna be good. Like, I think he's
I mean, I agree that happened.
trying.
Yeah.
And he's going for he's sort of the character that fits the camp of the original series. Like, he feels like he understands what kind of movie he should be in rather than what it actually turned into.
I do. That the camp of the original series, I do think that they were definitely embracing that as much as possible.
in there.
That is like that during the chase scene with that. There were a lot of lines that made me
Made you laugh?
Yeah, that made me laugh. That were that I think were intentionally funny, and successfully so, and that lends credence to. I'm not going to say it's a straight comedy. This isn't an airplane movie. There is the it's a comedy sci-fi movie / remake, whatever. The "Can't we all just get along" speech
Was nuts! What the hell? It was not just that. It was oh my god. It was, can't we all just get along? And then he said something else, like, weirdly racial at the beginning of it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Guys, never give Mark Wahlberg an inspirational speech. That's
That's
a terrible choice.
I honestly can't even remember his speech. That's how ineffective he was. There's the, one thing you don't want in your house is a human teenager.
Wait. I'm going back. It was before Paul Giamatti said, "Can't we all just get along?" He was like, "No, it's great, yeah," because he's trying to talk his way into like being cool with the humans and the activist apes and stuff, and then he's like, "Yeah, separate but equal," and then like he just keeps rambling until he gets to, "Can't we all just get along?" And I'm like, what is happening?
Because this movie, it thinks it wants to be something, and at the very closest it might get is trying to be a commentary on race relations.
Comedy
And it
commentary.
does such a bad job. Like, there's the dining room scene with all the apes where they're sort of talking about the politics, like, of, these humans. And the movie is not making it clear whether the humans are animals to them or if they are a different sentient race that is a slave race.
That is true. In the original one, the humans didn't speak, so it was very clear that,
and
like,
they're clearly
okay,
just
the
animals.
apes are way beyond humans.
But
now.
in this movie, it's unclear. They
That
treat
is
them like
true.
animals in some ways, but then in other ways, like, you're treating it like a sentient being that you're comfortable having as a slave class.
Which I thought they were, which is what they were going for. It was an indictment of slavery / caste system, something like that.
It's
Fine.
really brave
It
to do an
doesn't-
indictment of slavery in a movie. That's just like a really brave stance to take.
Okay. So
Super controversial.
So that's why we shouldn't watch Roots or 12 Years a Slave or Amistad or whatever.
We are putting Planet of the Apes on the same level as 12 Years a Slave.
I'm not saying that, but you can't. Okay.
Also, Paul Giamatti plays a slave trader in 12 Years a Slave, too. I don't know why he keeps getting typecast.
Oh gosh.
Seems like such a nice man.
There was a human with an organ grinder.
There was an ape who had a human
An
as
ape
the
with a human organ.
organ grinder's
That was-
monkey.
There were 2 apes who were going at it too.
That was hilarious. It was one of the. I'm
Why?
pretty sure there was
Why include that scene? That was.
Because ape sex is fascinating.
I don't
And-
think so. I think it was just like played for laughs, but it wasn't funny.
No, you're feeding into Sam's
No,
argument.
my thing is that it wasn't funny. It had no relevance to it.
There was a chimp with a bong. That was enjoyable.
There was a chimp.
Guys, if you haven't, you should go out and watch this movie because I'm spoiling all these great punchlines, these great jokes.
They're as funny as it is with Sam reading them.
So, like, right in the beginning, you have...
Did you run out already?
No, right in the beginning... No, I'm just kidding my head. Right in the beginning, you've got Mark Wahlberg saying, "No, I'm
so much right
no, I'm going to go get my chimp." I don't know. I thought it was funny. And never send a monkey to do a man's job.
I'm getting... those were
that.
not...
I hated
Those
that
were not
so
comedy
much.
lines.
They were.
Those were...
You
That
hate
was
them
just
so
so
much?
No, I hated those lines.
Oh, God.
I hate that. I hate
I'm
the
going
whole...
to get my chimp was not written as like a "this will slay" in the theaters.
Okay, no. But,
No, there's like, this is gonna be the badass line. Like,
Never
no.
send a monkey to do a man's job.
He said it like that's his badass action pun.
That's
It
what was hilarious
not.
about it.
I
It was
agree.
sarcastic. It was tongue-in-cheek, I should say.
It was terrible. The very premise of the movie was frustrating to me. It begins in the far off date of 2029.
And this is us in 12 years. This is going to happen.
And they're up on their space base doing experiments. And there's this electrical storm, whatever, space wormhole thing that they don't know anything about, that's not set up with any urgency. But our first plan is, let's send an ape in. And then...
Well, the ape is there to test if it's safe or not,
Why?
right?
Like, surely by this time we have unmanned droids that we can send in first. They do no investigation. Their first recourse is, let's throw an ape at it and see what happens.
Which is
And
fair.
it's also not... Because, okay, you can... If your ape's the canary in the coal mine, it's to figure out if the planet's breathable, I'm guessing.
But it's not even a planet at that point. It's like space anomaly.
Yeah.
That the movie doesn't set up enough, like... that this is important, or that we have to investigate this, or this is the thing we've been like waiting to investigate.
Yeah.
There's no urgency to this thing. It's just, hey, there's a thing. Let's throw an ape.
And it's... and like you were saying, it's not like they're remotely manning the shuttle the ape's in. They have taught the
They have
ape...
taught the ape to do...
And the ape is terrified of death. That's one of the first things we learn about
He does
the ape
terribly
is terrified
in
of
the
death and is going to
simulations.
be a father soon.
Oh gosh, that's right. I forgot that he was an ape father.
Oh, wow. So
Maybe-
the seeds
okay,
were already being sown
Maybe
then.
that adds a little more urgency as to why Mark Wahlberg then decides he has to like flout all protocol and go into this very dangerous situation to go
Yeah,
get his
and
ape
then
back.
make
But
his,
then, like,
This
what
ape
does,
that he felt like
Make
he
his-
felt like he was a casual coworker
his
with.
crew go after
then
him.
what does the line "never send a monkey to do a man's job" means if he's so concerned about this monkey and he treats this monkey as an equal that deserves to be saved? Why is he belittling the monkey, or is he saying like this is not moral? Men should be sent in here to do this. Like it makes no sense.
Or if the argument were like, no, we have to investigate this thing and we've lost, connection with him, so I'm going to go in and like find out. But there's no real reason for him to do
And
it.
then if you take the whole, how that entire situation gets handled, it's nuts, because space anomaly, let's throw a monkey at it. Mark Wahlberg goes, no way, man. Steals a shuttle and goes after the monkey, and then the crew decides, let's take our big giant
Best
ship
plan.
full of everyone and drive that
Go
into the
after
space
it.
anomaly.
I mean,
It
obviously,
worked so well before.
obviously the answer was to get to the movie. But
The stupidest crew I've ever seen. Everyone is so stupid.
And then it's a pretty stupid anomaly because it shoots them all out in reverse order by 1,000 years. 1,000 years later, a couple days later, when Pericles finally shows up as the Deus Ex
You
Machina.
don't know how-
Deus Ex Machina.
you don't know how... Yes.
Thank you.
That's
Sam,
all...
that's how you do a joke in the Planet of the Apes movie.
Okay, that's fair. You don't know how time travel works.
Damn it, that's true.
Yeah, see? That actually...
Big objects travel farther, or travel less distance through time.
Yeah, okay.
Meaning no time at all.
Actually, this did bring me this. You make a really good point. Knowing that he's going to be a father, how heartbroken that must have been such a heartrending moment when he does come through and he's like, "Oh, my son died 2,000 years. My child died 2,000 years ago." That wasn't explored, and I feel like that should have been
That would
explored.
have been fascinating. Like, really get inside Pericles' head.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I did all this?
Because wasn't in Project X weren't those apes typing? He could have typed out, his feelings and things. That's so sad.
It did feel like...
But all he
Project
cared about was
X.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
I don't care about my wife
Thumbs
or
up.
child. Aw, that poor Jim.
You think they were married?
I'm only assuming, yeah. the captain of the ship, as one can do, came in and married the two apes. And
I want marrying Laura's theory to this, I want to believe that his wife was a human.
He had bigamy. He had his ape wife, and then he took a human wife because they had to repopulate this barren planet. It was just them and the horses, and they had to do something.
I'm also assuming the captain would not let the apes live in sin, so of course he's going to marry them. So yeah, that's his wife.
And he's a captain; he can marry them.
Yes, yeah. The
apes are not okay with this, and they revolt.
And maybe that's what happened. Yeah, say, don't put your religion on us, man.
I've now thought of a problem with the idea that the crew populates the planet, because their premise is that in the video logs they crash land and the apes are helping them out, rebuilding society, and they comment on like, wow, the apes are really being helpful. We weren't expecting them to be as useful as they are here. And then apparently in that time somehow they jumpstart enough that like one evil ape is the ringleader and convinces all the other apes to kill all the humans, which I hate. And also, it does imply that then, in theory, they would have taken out all the crew humans. So it doesn't explain the thousands of the weird planet humans.
Yeah, it's almost as if the setting was decided like 4/5 of the way through writing the script, right?
I'm going to assume that this ship have a much bigger crew than we thought, and they wiped out the senior crew, and like all the lower people
the heads
on the lower decks. Yeah, they're like, okay, you're our slave,
officers.
You're our slaves now, and that's how this whole slave class started. See, it all
interesting.
It's all there.
But then why would there be so many wild humans? Because they really shoot to the hills.
I mean,
and live on the other side of lakes because apes are terrified of water.
Life finds a way.
I just really hate that it was like one bad ape. Like, I guess the rational thing would be the humans die out because they're useless and the apes like become strong. I hate that it was like one guy's like, guys, we gotta take out these humans. They suck. Like, I don't know.
It's weird that we meet like the activist ape who's human friendly really before we meet any of the other apes or really like explore humans' role in the society. I mean, I get that, we get that humans are slaves, but then immediately we meet Helena Bonham Carter's character, and there's kind of just like there's no peril, like just right away you're like, oh, there's a cool ape. I bet they're going to be friends and go on adventures together. And they do.
Is that who they meet first? Wow.
Pretty early on. She's one of the significant ones that we meet. After Tim Roth being unnecessarily aggressive.
Tim Roth was so good
everything.
in this.
He was awful.
He really commits, and I respect
Tim
that.
Roth has a really great moment with the gun. His physical acting when he has that gun at the very end is actually pretty good, I think.
His walking as a chimp human was really, I thought was very good. Way better than Michael Clark Duncan's May He Rest in Peace, Rest in Power.
And the way he jumps around and does like flips and stuff, it's like you're looking at a monkey.
I think a lot of that was wire work.
I really hated the monkey jumps.
And that was a little exaggerated for ape jump. Ape jumps.
I'm sorry, the ridiculous ape jumps.
I do not want the ape people to get mad at this podcast.
I hate that having humanoid apes is not impressive enough with considering how strong they would be. They have to do ridiculous spring work and wire work leaps.
And their hitting
hitting
has to make people fly 20 feet away.
And they have not developed any other way of beating someone other than like the ape, like throw your hands up and like bring them down like you're hitting a drum.
No one's brought up Estelle Warren and how bad
because the movie doesn't bring up Estelle Warren.
What's Estelle Warren?
She's the hot chick.
Oh, that's right.
He got his monkey piece and his supermodel piece.
She's preposterously hot.
Just there to be hot.
Yeah.
Let's face it.
And in a preposterous way. Like, please, this is how you look, please.
By the way, the woman who played her, I'd forgotten she actually speaks in this movie. The woman who played her role in the original Planet of the Apes, also super hot. So they're keeping up.
She doesn't speak.
They're keeping up a rich transition. A rich. What the fuck is the word? Tradition.
Why did you help him? We could have sat here for like 5 minutes,
and we would have. I am not good with coming up with series of letters that you put together.
Words.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not good with coming up with words. So, I mean, I don't have anything else to say. This movie is funny. It's funny.
You haven't proved it's funny at all. Like, nothing you said is funny.
Well, that's because you're a bad audience.
No.
You were determined not to like this.
No,
so when
I wouldn't. I had no idea what to expect from this movie, and I'm like, oh my god.
No, I mean right now you're.
If you're done,
Any
Sam, fucking explain the ending.
Oh,
Because we're just gonna jump right to
Yeah,
that.
I want to hear what you have to say.
Explain the
because
bonkers,
people have
nonsensical
said
ending.
things
Oh,
about
the
it.
ending is just hilarious.
We're all so mad about the ending.
You mean Abraham Lincoln?
That's pretty good. I'm pretty impressed by that.
You know, if on the wall behind that statue it had said Abraham Lincoln, I would have been like, all right, fine.
I wish it would. Honestly, I do think that there was a misstep to have some sort of fade explanation. Like, no, just go back and...
Did I miss a thing with fade?
No, you did not. I mean, it's written on the wall behind.
No, I get that.
Abraham Lincoln. But it
What
does not
the
show.
fuck?
It does not show why that would be the case.
I mean, I've got my Kickstarter for the sequel. If you want to contribute to it,
is that
and
what
then
it
maybe
is?
we'll
Is it
find
just
out.
nonsensical shit that they were going to
It's-
attempt to sort through in the
It's
sequel?
sort of. Can I add to your? Sorry.
This isn't IMDb trivia, is it?
No. It's just
Because I know
that
it's your last day.
They don't have money.
But-
They didn't have money, so they canceled it. They were going to make more,
And it did so badly. Like,
Yeah, it did
was
very
critically
poorly.
panned, so they canceled.
This was definitely setting up for a sequel.
That was the suggestion. Like, Tim Burton did not mind that it didn't make the most sense because it was apparently going to go to a sequel, but it makes zero sense. Like,
And
not even something you could retcon.
No, 0% on the sense-o-meter.
And I will agree with the asterisk that it doesn't matter what the movie was going for. It's the final product, and the final product was hilarious to me when that happened. Maybe
Shit can happen that makes no sense. Your movie has to be really goddamn absurd for that to happen. Like, God,
you know what I think?
you're hurting
Okay,
my brain, Sam.
no, that's fair. For me, I think what it was because it was such a subverting of subverting of expectations. The whole, there was a point, like, there was so much of the, hey, remember the old Planet of the Apes? We're kind of leading up to this. When they first go up to, there's a scene, oh god, when they get to the river area, just before that, the landscape looks very much like the landscape did in the original Planet of the Apes.
Actually, shot in the same place.
Oh, really? Before they get to the Statue of Liberty. So that was okay, here it comes. You ready for it? Here it comes. Here's going to be the big reveal. And then that's not the reveal. It's like, oh, here's two planet things. So this is a different world. That was the first one. So the end one to me was like hey, remember the big blow your mind ending from the original Planet of the Apes? Here's this one. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. That's part of what blows your mind about it. And again, seeing this movie as a comedy, that's why it worked for me. As a comedy / send-up of the original.
If I was, like, walking to 7-Eleven to get a Slurpee, I don't expect to get mooned on the way to 7-Eleven. And if someone mooned me, I don't think I'd be happy about it, even if it subverted the expectation I had during my walk.
You were in for a big surprise tomorrow, mister. Because I am going to find your 7-Eleven.
And then
I mean, if it was a funny movie, if you had him look out the window and see Thane in, like, an astronaut chimp suit floating and then disappearing through the time portal, and then get to Abraham Lincoln, like, there you go. There's some sort of explanation for what the fuck happened.
I have so many questions with that ending that I'm so frustrated by. Just logistically, like, did he go so far back in human evolution that, like, apes became the dominant species on Earth and they just happened to have history evolve in a, like, concurrent way, so they had an Abraham Lincoln? Or did they take over Earth society and just implant themselves on our pre-existing monuments in our iconography? I have so many questions.
I would be willing to buy either of those options, and I'd be fine with the ambiguity if you explain the fuck is happening. If you have one shot of, like, Thane trapped in the bridge of the broken space shuttle, like, welding things together, going like, you know, just you wait. You know, like, something like where it's like, oh, what's Thane planning? And then you
electricity
realize,
confuses me, but I'm going to figure out interstellar travel.
Yeah, and then, okay, eventually he jumps so far back in time behind Mark Wahlberg that he gets to Earth or something. That is made clear. No, Thane's trapped in a room. He's terrified. He's hiding under a table, and then we get to Earth, and it's...
We have established that the wormhole is terrible at what order they throw people through at, which is a convenient, stupid plot point.
Yeah. The centerpiece of the Planet of the Apes reboot is time travel. That's like... dumb. I don't know. It's just stupid. All right. Are we good? We're done?
Being good is a Japanese term.
I am going to say that, obviously, whether or not you think the movie is funny, that's in the eye of the beholder. For me, I do think the movie is funny. There are definitely parts that are more serious than the actual sci-fi stuff. And honestly, I think there's part of me that's like, so it doesn't make sense. I'm still being entertained. The humorous stuff, I think, is what most entertains me. So, like I said, by the end, it was like this is very funny the way they're taking your expectation of this twist ending and just totally blowing it, like, oh yeah, you want a twist? Here's something nobody ever in the history of anything will see coming. Something that makes zero sense. And that was what I enjoyed about it.
There's this film called Remember Me with Robert Pattinson, and it's like a love story. Uh-huh. And then at the very end, 9/11 happens. And no one saw that coming. No one even realized it was set in 2001. And fucking 9/11 happens. Uh-huh. And that's kind of like no one's going to see this ending, fuck you.
But I think the difference...
Terrible. This movie came out before September 11th. Isn't that crazy?
So did the original Planet of the Apes.
Maybe that's why I enjoyed it so. And you guys saw it afterwards, and you were like all jaded and
interesting. They had to edit the Twin Towers out of the skyline on the Planet of the Apes.
What did you say just before? The Remember Me thing. That was different to me. Like, and again, we're gonna argue over it. But I think this was because this was a funny movie up until then, and because they were so relying on you understanding the original property and having these expectations that it was this big fuck you. Good luck ever seeing that coming ending. Remember Me. That's apples and oranges.
Yeah, they're both like fruit.
Yes.
They're both delicious.
I'm trying really hard to think of a movie that does a really good job of subverting your expectations for the ending. And if we could just pause right here.
I'm going to edit out a lot
and then come back with our brilliant examples.
I mean, if we can't think of any, Sam wins. And I just can't have that.
Oh, no, they're out there.
I do wonder this. When Tim Burton was like, yeah, I don't care how crazy the movie ends because we're going to have a sequel, was it like, oh, this is going to be a big challenge to solve to explain how this happened? Or was it like, yeah, fuck the next director?
Oh, I'm sure he certainly thought it would be his project initially.
Then what? I mean, like, he had to have a parachute. He had to have some sort of escape plan from this thing.
Have you seen like any of Tim Burton's movies?
Yeah, but
the past
we're not talking about. But we're not talking about movies. We're talking about one-off movies. If this is something that he thinks is going to be a series, I would think he would have to have some sort of explanation in the back of his mind, or he's just like, yeah, I don't care. I guess the Batman movies are good.
I mean, like, maybe the studio's like, hey, what image are you going to do to one-up the Statue of Liberty?
I did hear that the studio was a big part of that ending. Did you read anything in the IMDb trivia? Or we'll just...
Why are you asking this?
Lauren's looking at me like spoiler.
No, I was waiting to hear where you went with that.
Yeah, just to see if that was confirmed or denied.
Whether or not.
Because if it... I gotta say, if it does turn out like, oh yeah, he had a pretty straightforward ending, and the studio's like, no, we need something that's going to blow everyone's mind, that does kind of poke holes in my theory of this is an intentional, kind of like, good luck seeing that coming to the audience. And it was more like we'll just throw some shit against the wall and see what happens.
But it's not the kind of movie that random absurd shit can just happen at the end. It doesn't earn that. What I'm saying, if like... at the end of MacGruber, if MacGruber had gone into space and found like space Abraham Lincoln, MacGruber is maybe absurd. I'm not trying to say MacGruber is like the greatest, most absurd movie ever, but like maybe that is absurd enough to where it can earn that. This Planet of the Apes movie isn't absurd enough to where it can just be like, here's some random shit that we didn't earn.
I guess we'll have to agree to disagree.
All right, I do have a quote that I did find in the IMDb trivia. That I'll bring forward now. I know it's a bit out of order. But Tim Burton had claimed that the ending was not supposed to make any sense, but it was supposed to be a cliffhanger to be explained in a possible sequel. And the quote is, it was a reasonable cliffhanger that could be used in case 20th Century Fox or another filmmaker wanted to do another movie.
So it is very much like, I'm not going to have to unwrap this.
Here's
gift
a
to the
Gordian
audience.
knot. You can untie it.
You know what is surprising? The amount of hate this movie gets, it's at 45% on Rotten Tomatoes. It really feels like it should be 15%. But apparently 45% of critics agree with me.
Honestly, this movie is not interesting, but it's not the worst movie we've done.
No.
That ending is frustratingly awful, and I think that's a lot of the lingering taste in people's mouth. Because when people talk about this stupid movie, they always talk about Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah.
That's like the thing they go to. And so obviously I think a lot of people are honestly judging it on that ending.
Yeah.
If that came out today, I think it would be about a 40% Rotten Tomatoes movie. Yeah. It's a movie that I think people could just like turn their brains off and watch, and it doesn't matter if the plot is structured really weirdly and it doesn't make a ton of sense and the jokes aren't funny and
if he crash lands on Dagobah. That's where we thought it looked like at Dagobah, where he crash lands.
Oh, yeah.
They're saying it was kind of swampy.
So Laura gets it.
Yeah.
Laura appreciates it.
This is a true story. The very first movie,
you mean the movie?
The very first movie we did for this podcast was Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. And Laura had, at that point, the only Star Wars movie she had seen was the very first Star Wars movie. And I took severe issue with Laura watching Phantom Menace before watching Empire Strikes Back. And so I made Laura sit down and watch Empire Strikes Back. And then, like, 3/4 of the way through Empire Strikes Back, Laura goes, "This movie's so bad. I can't believe you're going to defend this movie."
Let's all reminisce about Laura. This is her exit interview. So, I like the movie. Not a surprise. Final verdicts.
I like you, Sam.
Thank you. I'm actually, after you watching that movie, I take that as a big compliment. How about you, Lauren?
No, I don't.
How about you, Laura?
No.
And Bobby?
No, I don't. I have nothing more to say. No.
I understand you people do not have good senses of humor.
It could be true. I'm leaving it open that Sam has such an evolved sense of humor.
Yeah.
That he
Yeah,
just
that's it.
operates on a level completely different than all of us.
I mean,
We're an underdeveloped sense of humor, so then that way.
No, I'm really into alt comedy, so I thought maybe Lauren would like it because she is too, but, whatever.
The alt comedy jub. Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes.
It is rough because it was right around this period where Tim Burton's movies just start going really bad. And I think when I watched it, I was still really into Tim Burton, so there was a lot of like, okay, I like this. How much of that is giving, even though there really doesn't have a Tim Burton feel at all, or a look at least. You don't think? You think so? Certainly. Definitely the look was like, it just looks like generic sci-fi.
It looked like the generic designers had been watching a lot of Tarzan sing before they watched this movie. Like, they really enjoyed the cell, and they decided to design a sci-fi movie around that.
But I don't think it has a Tim Burton look.
Right.
So, but I think I had a lot of goodwill toward him, and so there was a little bit like going back, like, oh, am I still going to like it? And I still laughed. I thought it was funny. Bobby and Laura, would you like to discuss gender politics in the movie we just watched?
I got the eye of the tiger.
Susan B. Anthony was on the dollar coin for a reason.
Stop objectifying me.
Gloria Steinem.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Equal rights amendment was never ratified.
Rosie the Riveter.
Oh my God, Bobby, shut up.
Rosie the Robot.
Who's gonna make me my sandwich?
My body, my choice.
Blatant. Susan B. Anthony was taken off the dollar for a reason.
Beyonce. I'm just going to turn this one completely over to Laura.
No.
Laura, you have 15 seconds to discuss gender politics.
It's stupid. Like, the women, like, the two main women fight over Mark Wahlberg, and he's such a douche to both of them.
I don't think they fight over him, right?
Yeah, because it's like, she goes and cries, Estelle Warren's character goes and cries when he sees Helena Bonham Carter's character, like,
I think this is the first time a character name has been dropped in our entire podcast.
I was on
Except for
IMDb
Fade.
and I happened to see
Oh,
it.
yeah, Fade and character. Okay.
And yeah, and then Bonham Carter gets mad, that she goes to Tim Roth, and then she gets branded as a human, and oh my God, they're just so ridiculous in this movie. No one would care about him. He's such a douche.
So,
Now you guys get how I feel about Dermot Mulrooney and My Best Friend's Wedding.
No.
I don't like that Bobby and Laura discuss gender politics. The movie we just watched does not pass the Bechdel test. Because all you did was talk about, I mean, it's with a man and a woman, so it couldn't anyway. But all you did was talk about that you don't like Mark Wahlberg.
No, I'm saying that these two women don't talk about anything else aside from him.
She talked about ape rights. Or human rights.
She has other interests.
But what I'm saying is you're not liking Mark Wahlberg is
No,
is
his
shaping the
character
convers- okay,
is a
it is.
douchebag.
Okay.
And then at the end, he leaves both of them to go off to Earth for whatever reason.
But, like, I don't know. Estella Warren's hot, and that's kind of empowering, right?
It is. She's
Shut
pretty hot.
Bye.
I wish she had made out with Helena Bonham Carter Monkey. I wish that had been the ending.
Bye.
Please.
It's not Orphan Black.
Wait, is there a talking?
You remember when
I'm
Helena
just
Bonham
saying
Carter makes out
that
with Tatiana
Cosima
Maslany?
and what's her name? Oh, Delphine.
We are 3 episodes
Go
back,
at
so
it.
please watch what you say.
No, you already have seen the episode
Okay.
where they go at it.
All she's saying is that they're lesbians.
Yeah.
Which one?
What?
So are you done with gender politics?
Yeah.
This is your last
Forever.
Solve gender politics.
Never
Yeah,
be
yeah,
done
you
with
need
it
one.
until women have equal rights.
Well, I mean, they do, right? I mean, the patriarchy doesn't exist because we tore down society and rebuilt it. Now there's just an ape patriarchy.
No, apparently this patriarchy still exists. Because you have a male ruler, you don't have a female ruler.
They
so
demand-
there.
Let's do IDOBM IMDb trivia TM. All
Hi,
right.
guys.
Hi, Lauren. What do you got?
Guys, I can't believe Tim Roth gave up Severus Snape to do this movie. He could have been in the Harry Potter franchise, and he ruined it. Why did he do that?
So that Alan Rickman could...
I know, and it's glorious, and
I mean,
we're
it's
all
like an
we're all the
interesting
better for it.
alternate universe. Like, I would love to see the Eric Stoltz Back to
Like
the
a
Future.
planet where
Yeah, but I would
Eric
love to
Stoltz-
see the Tim Roth Harry Potter movies, even though I'm perfectly, like,
They're
totally
alright.
happy
Yeah.
with Alan Rickman as Snape.
Who was perfect? That was not IMDb trivia. I knew that before, but
Yeah,
I
it's like,
really
I don't
want
want-
to get it in there.
I don't want to see these things instead of. I want to see these things along with.
Yeah.
I want to get a glimpse into those parallel universes.
And on a lesser note, this was from IMDb trivia that Mark Wahlberg signed on to this film after only 5 minutes of meeting with Tim Burton, and he gave up the Matt Damon role in Ocean's 11 to do this movie,
Thank fucking God.
which is great for us, but like, you dummy.
And that was the end of Mark Wahlberg's career. This movie just sunk him. He certainly wasn't in any Transformers.
He would have been fine in that role, though. The Matt Damon... I mean, I love Matt. Matt Damon is so much better than Mark Wahlberg.
Of
But,
course.
like, the Linus role in Ocean's 11 is kind of...
It's
like
negligible, but like
Yeah.
giving it the sparkle power of a Matt Damon makes it
Yeah.
more significant.
Bobby, you watch it.
Yeah. No, Laura's the big Matt Damon defender.
Yeah.
Me.
Some more trivia. Michael Clark Duncan sprained his ankle during filming and was forced to go to the hospital in full gorilla makeup.
Is that why when he was running up to somebody, he was not
It was in
running
slow
at all?
motion.
Yeah, it was. That was especially frustrating because there were so many like
Good moving
big
people.
good ape moving. Like I said, Tim Roth did a fantastic job of walking like an ape, and then you have just
Tim Roth committed to it way more than anyone else.
yeah, and Michael Clark Duncan was just lumbering over and
You try to make Michael Clark Duncan do something he doesn't want to do.
rest in power.
Rest in power. As we've commented on, the makeup was designed on this movie by Rick Baker, and part of his process into designing,
What else did he do?
was it? We just looked it up as
Yeah,
well.
we did
The
look-
Grinch.
Was it? He did the Grinch too.
He won
Okay.
for the Grinch.
He won for the okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least he won for that. I was looking up that this wasn't even nominated for makeup, and I thought that was unfortunate. But
But one of the things he enjoyed doing while he was preparing the makeup for the film was doing the full ape makeup on himself and scaring people at a drive-in movie theater that he found showing the original Planet of the Apes.
what a weirdo!
I know, I thought it was delightful though. Along the lines of the makeup, so the female chimpanzees in the movie, they actually had eyebrows, whereas the male ones did not. All females were not going to have eyebrows at first, but they were added later as it was deemed too unsettling. But the bros are okay.
Because you might want to fuck him.
But on some of the dudes, it's still okay. Like, no, that works out. Speaking of wanting to fuck them, the original concept was to have the Helen Bottom character, yeah, that works out, be more like an ape princess and a romantic interest for the human. But that was vetoed as it was considered unseemly and
so
weird.
Was Stella Warren written in 4/5 of the way through the screenplay?
I wonder. That's a really good point. Because that just sort of seems like it's Planet of the Apes movie. We gotta have a pretty lady person. But that's intriguing.
Sorry, Laura. You didn't get the movie you wanted.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
The apes have sex with the humans.
I know that was your dream.
Well, that would technically, under Laura's rule, it'd be like an ape hybrid having sex with a human.
That's true, yeah.
And obviously, we've pointed out how many of the flaws occurred in this movie, and it could be explained due it was a very difficult production process. It's reported that Fox was really adamant about getting their release date so that everything, pre-production, editing, visual effects, were all rushed, which might explain the shoddiness. They were starting production before the script was all the way done, so it might be fair that it didn't get the full shake that it should have. And for our final trivia, Tim Burton said that he would rather jump out of a window than direct a sequel to this film.
Well, yeah, he left himself a corner that it was impossible to paint himself out of.
You admit it.
No, I admitted it. Yeah, I said the ending makes no sense. I do not have any hesitation to say that. All right.
No, I think you admit the whole movie was terrible. I thought that was what you admit.
Nope. Thank you, Lauren. Now, let us discuss the movie we wish we'd seen.
Ugh, this movie is crap.
I could write a better movie in my sleep.
And now, IDOBM presents the movie we'd wish we'd seen.
And that is, of course, where we take an aspect of the movie, sequel or prequel, take one aspect, for instance, the apes having sex with the humans, like Laura wants, and make it its own movie. I'm assuming you wanted a XXX pornography for that. But I'll let you have your turn. Let's start. Laura, what movie do you wish you'd seen?
Any other movie aside from this? Okay. Like any movie with Matt Damon, even his worst movie, I'd rather watch than
You thought you were a Matt Damon defender.
What?
I thought you were a Matt Damon defender.
Yeah, he does have some bad movies, but...
What's a bad Matt Damon movie?
Dogma.
None.
How dare you? You haven't even seen Dogma, and it's great.
That's fair. That I haven't seen it, not that it's great. That Elysium was overrated. How about you? I guess Laura's fizzled out. How about you? You're really going out with a bang here.
No, I'm just saying I would rather watch any other movie with Matt Damon in it than this movie. And I just pulled that out because
I'm just curious, what is the worst Matt Damon movie? I'm not leading you into anything. I'm just curious what Laura thinks the worst Matt Damon movie is.
Is it
If you have to look
Mr.
it up
Ripley?
The Informant?
No, fuck you. The Informant's so good. That movie does not get the love it deserves.
The Monuments?
Oh.
Monuments Men?
Oh, that was not what we're seeing.
The Great Wall.
Is it School Ties?
Oh, we're going to do The Great Wall eventually.
I don't know. I haven't seen that.
Have I not seen any of Matt Damon's worst movies?
Is it We Bought the Zoo?
The Brothers Grimm.
How dare you?
That's true.
I forgot he was in that.
I think he forgot he was in that.
Ocean's 12 is pretty bad.
Oh, that's true. How about you, Bobby?
I want to see a quirky Wes Anderson short film just from Pericles' point of view, where he goes into a spaceship, travels through time, and then lands on a planet where he's like a god.
Oh, I bought the soundtrack to that.
That's funny because mine is kind of sort of related to both of yours, which is that I want to see a Martian-style movie where Pericles ends up on a planet and has to do his own farming and just find his own way back home, and where the NASA astronauts are actually making an effort to try to get him to come home. Or
can I say
yes?
Go ahead.
Or Laura's XXX monkey human sex movie.
I should have stopped there. That sounds like a wonderful idea for a charming mobile game.
I could see that. Yeah, I would download that. Yeah. How about you, Laura? Nah.
Thank you.
That's not going to happen anymore.
No, it will.
It might, but it really is. It only happens when either I'm talking about Laura or when you both are in the same room. How about you, Lauren? What movie do you wish you'd seen?
I want to see this comedy that you speak of. I mean, I don't agree with your argument that this was it, but I think that'd be delightful. And if it could in any way devolve into the Simpsons musical, that going with the exact lyrics in that episode, that would be great.
That would be fantastic.
From chimpanzee to chimpanzee, as before.
Charlton Heston credited as Zaius.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, was that his name on it?
What was he saying? Oh, that's interesting.
Was that his name?
Yeah, I didn't catch that because they didn't say it.
I saw that on Wikipedia and it confused me. I thought that would come into play and it didn't.
Well, apparently another trivia thing was that Tim Roth is very pro-gun control, and he was very uncomfortable even doing a scene with Charlton Heston, who was famously NRA proponent. It was all like, I'm not comfortable with this at all. And there's a gun in the room in the scene. Like, no, I'm not for this movie glamorizing the gun thing. And Tim Burton had to be like, no, we're ultimately saying the gun is bad and it's gonna be okay. And like, my response is, you're acting. Be a professional.
Yeah, I mean that is rough because I would imagine in Hollywood you're usually surrounded by so many people who think like you do that you kind of get spoiled and you like if you're working in an office. Of course you don't talk about that kind of crap because you work with idiots. But like
Charlton Heston, though. I mean, yes, I think that was throwing a hissy fit for the sake of throwing a hissy fit, but like, it's Charlton Heston, Mr. NRA.
And terrible actor to boot.
Yeah.
So it makes it even more offensive.
But at the same time, you don't just, I don't know, you... Like Lauren said, be a professional,
and
put it all out of your head.
And it may have happened all behind the scene. I'm sure on set, Tim Roth was perfectly professional, but it was like
Can I say, I'm not like a Charlton Heston fan, but when he was made to say, damn it all to hell in the movie, my thought was like, give the man his dignity, man. Like, this is so sad. What is happening?
All right, so guys... you guys felt what you felt about this movie, and that's fair. But let's talk about things that need no defense. Just whatever you're into right now that you dig. Bobby, why don't you go ahead?
I'm gonna give two things and cheat. I recently read, actually I did an audiobook for The Daily Show Oral History by Chris Smith, and it was really interesting. Because it's not only the behind the scenes of The Daily Show, but it also kind of traces the evolution of the media and the news media throughout Jon Stewart's time at The Daily Show. So I thought that was just a really, really fascinating read. So I really highly recommend that. And speaking of the media, I'm going to recommend a political podcast. It's KCET's Left, Right, and Center. It comes out every Friday. And it's just kind of like, it's really nice. Cable news can be really angry and sensationalistic and depressing. And Left, Right, and Center is kind of cool because it just has really level-headed people talking about the week in politics and news without, getting angry and shouting at each other. And I really enjoy my Friday ritual of listening to Left, Right, and Center. So you should also listen to it.
I didn't know that was a thing, talking politics without screaming and things. So what the hell? I'll recommend two things too. Not long ago I read a graphic novel, if you can call it that, called Building Stories by cartoonist Chris Ware. It is very interesting. It's presented in a box, and there are actually 14 different, I think it's 14, different books that go with it, and I'm kind of torn because there's not a real, and there are definitely narratives, but because of the way you can read these books in any order, there's no suggested order to read them in, and they're like puzzle pieces. They put this big long story together, but like I said, because there's no order that you read it, there's no climax per se. It's you just like, oh, here's this short book of things that happen. Here's a short book of other things that happen. Put together, it does paint this beautiful portrait of this lonely young woman and her trials and tribulations. I was lucky enough that when the order I did read it in, it did kind of progress. Like, I think I read it more or less in the order of events happening. So that was nice. So I would recommend that. Like I said, it was just this lovely story that ultimately is about loneliness and the the inherent inability for people to connect, no matter how much you love or are with a person. That it's impossible without being inside the other person's head to fully 100% connect.
And what was it called? Building
Stories.
Sounds good.
And the other thing that I would recommend is Shit Town or S Town. It's I can't think of the word.
Podcast?
Yeah, well, it's a podcast, but put on by the people of
Serial.
Thank you. And it's I think it's 7-8 parts, something like that. It's about this shit town in Mississippi. Actually, it's about this one gentleman, John B. McLemore, who he's very interesting person. He's a genius. I won't go too much into detail about it, but he's just a super interesting person, and it explores his life a bit, and some interesting events happen. And I'm sure everyone's already listened to it if you listen to podcasts, because it's very popular and doesn't need me recommending it. But I'm going to anyway, because I know at least one person in this room hasn't listened to it.
I'll co-sign on that. It's great. It's really interesting.
It is not the happiest thing in the world.
No.
If you need an upper, listen to Comedy Bang Bang or something. But if you want this interesting portrait of a troubled genius, S-Town is one way to do it. Mm-hmm. How about you, Lauren?
Guys, we're deep in summer. I'm going to recommend getting outside and enjoying your day. And in particular, I'm going to recommend dog beaches. I went to the Long Beach Dog Beach for the first time this weekend, and it was adorable. Even if you don't have a dog, be the creeper that hangs out like the adult at the park with no children. But it's okay because it's just dogs. And if you thought dog parks were cute, nah, man. Dogs running around the surf, playing with each other, going up and smelling each other, cutest thing in the world. Get outside, go to a dog beach.
But I live in Montana and I have no access to beaches.
Get out of Montana. That's your first mistake. Why are you living in a parabola?
Unless you're a Trump supporter, then stay in Montana.
Yeah.
I'm not really a Trump supporter. I'm more a Greg Gianforte supporter.
Ugh.
Maybe go to Russia. I don't know. How about you, Laura? You know what? I'm going to give you a little extra time. You can recommend up to 3 things.
But you have 15 seconds.
I am very much enjoying Broadchurch. I think it might be the last season. David Tennant and the great Olivia Colman are in it. And
wasn't she the doctor?
Is so good. And season 1 was really good. Season 2 was okay. A lot of people don't like it. It's kind of divisive, but I would say watch it because it's interesting. I think it does interesting things with the characters. And then season 3, I'm in the middle of. People in the UK already have seen it, but it's quite intriguing, and I enjoy watching it. So
awesome. Do you want to throw in a second thing just because we gave you carte blanche to? I know, but it felt like she was done, and I don't want to push her.
Also, I talked to briefly, but Orphan Black, it's the last season, is really good too. It's a little confusing, but Tatiana Maslany is amazing because she plays all these different roles, clones, and my favorite is Crystal because she's so fun. She's the best.
I am not 100% sure what they're doing and if I like it right now, but I will second that she's fantastic. Not only does every character look and sound different, they really feel like different people.
Yeah, you forget that it's her.
Yeah, she is wonderful. And since we offered, do you want a third? I guess I offered. You could offer that. You could suggest people keep listening to the podcast even if you're not going to be on.
Yeah, definitely. That's my third. You guys should keep listening. It'd be really fun without me.
All right, awesome.
What a bummer note to end on.
It'll be really great without me.
All right, awesome. So, any plugs before we finish up here? I'll start. The first Sunday in September, I don't remember the date. I want to say the 3rd. Is that right, Lauren?
3rd sounds legitimate.
3rd, it could be the 3rd, will be our an upperclassmen show. I am legally not able to tell you all the details about it. However, I will say that in the past we've done a drunk show where some of us have been drunk. And this show, there will be we're going to have guest improv people, And there will be one group who will be drunk, there will be one group who will be sober, and there will be a third group. And that is all
We'll be high. I can say it.
They'll be midgets.
That is all I am at liberty to say.
But that's legal now, so...
Being a midget?
No, being high.
Not federally. There's a lot of legalities. I'm not saying that's what's happening. And also go to the Upperclassmen Comedy YouTube page, and you can watch a Ranger Sam sketch, which is a lot of fun, and other sketches that we've done.
Are you guys going to be doing the meth before the show or during the show?
Not at liberty to say.
Okay.
I plead the fifth commandment. Thou shalt not discuss the third element of our improv show.
Will it be taken intravenously, or are you going to be snorting it? I don't actually know how to. I realize, I'm going to start talking about meth, and then my brain was like, what happened in Breaking Bad?
I think it's in crystal form, and you just wear it like jewelry. Like crystal, like that.
I just know the blue stuff is the best.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Although I heard about this stuff with like cayenne pepper in it.
Oh, yeah. No, it's gimmicky shit.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's unfortunate. I just bought like a whole thing of it. That's what it comes in things. Anyone else have anything to plug? Laura?
Me? No.
I've enjoyed our time together. I'm sad you're leaving. Does anyone else want to second this?
Of course we're sad. We're hoping that you come back after a well-deserved break.
And you will always be welcome to reapply should you want to come here again.
I don't know if there'll be a spot. I hear a lot of people are vying for the seat, so...
And you're irreplaceable. That seat will remain empty. Your microphone will remain unused.
We'll be leaving sporadic pauses too, just so in case in post you want to
Colin, this movie sucks.
Call in. We don't have that technology.
We'll just have a recording of her going, "Oh my God, Bobby, shut up." Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Thank you, guys. And do you want to say goodbye, everyone?
Bye. No one else is going to say bye?
I thought it was important for you to say bye.
Yeah.
Oh, bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bobby and Laura, would you like, for the last time for a while, to discuss gender
Jesse
politics?
takes awful pictures. I just have to say that. Jesse, you take bad pictures.
I'm going to edit this part out, because
Like
it's very
his-
specific.
Like of himself or just
Of
his
people!
framing of
Laura's been holding a portrait of Jesse this entire time.
No, he just tagged me in the post on Facebook. And just takes the worst pictures.
This
This
is
is how
going,
invested Laura is in this episode.
this is going over the end credits. Bobby and
You
Laura...
managed to make me look bad. Okay, go ahead.
can't believe Tim Burton gave up Severus Snape to do this movie.
I'm sorry, who?
Tim Burton
Tim
was
Burton.
going to play
Wait,
Severus
let's go
Snape.
back. Let's go back.
That would have been
Guys, I've been doing that.
crazy.
I've been
I
doing
didn't
that
even know
through
Tim
this
Burton was
whole
into
process.
acting.
I've been doing that through this whole process. I keep mixing them up, like reading the trivia, like what Tim Roth? Oh no, I read Tim Burton. I've been going dyslexic over the things. Okay, I'm gonna take it again. You're not gonna cut this, are you? You jerk.